Hi guys, here we are with another useful tip from the Melville Mudroom. Today I thought I would just show you a little bit of a few things you can do with a banding wheel. This is a Amico decorating wheel. It's great because it's not heavy and you can see my fingers. The one's going this way and these fingers are going this way, so you can easily move it, get a bit of momentum going, and it keeps going for a while. It's got these concentric circles on the top, so it's quite easy to work out when something's in the middle. Sometimes though this can fly off depending on how wild you get, so you might want to put either a bit of chamois or a jelly plate or even a piece of paper towel. And then just, you've got it going in that direction, and then you can take a ruler first and just check how much space you've got to work with, and then just sort of give yourself a mark on one side and a mark on the other side, so that when you come to putting the wax, you know that it's not going to touch. Right. With a very steady hand, you just go around. See, that moved. So it's better to use to keep it secure, but that's good enough. So now you know that you need to wax that area. The other thing you can do with the banding wheel is use it for banding color onto your pot. So let's get going with something that will stick it. Hold it down, just check that it's as centered as it can be. You can see this isn't a handmade piece, so it's, but as best I can, got it nicely lined up. Get a bit of color, some slip. I'm going to water it down quite a bit. You don't want it too thick, because then it doesn't band nicely. Okay, so let's try that. You can see that that's quite thin. Okay, and then for straight thin lines, you would just use the top of your paintbrush. Make sure there isn't a great big blob sitting on the end. So get it ready and then decide where it's going. Oops, just got to get your hand out the way. And then you can feel it starts to drag, and then you know you've used up the color and you need to get some more. The other thing is not to put your brush down while the wheel isn't turning, because then you end up with a blob, and not to take it away while it isn't turning, because you end up with another blob.
Is that what happened with that blob there?
That's what happened with that blob there. Okay, but because it's our first one, we'll be forgiven, and we'll just thicken it a bit. This is also how you would do ombres, just with a different brush. Okay, so you hold the brush up, and while it's moving, you start applying your slip. And obviously the more you practice, the better you get at this. Oops. This is where I would think, okay, I'm going to put a thicker line. Need more slip. Okay, so not perfect, but you got the idea. The other thing I would suggest is that you practice. So take different brushes and see what happens when you just use water. So you don't need to start with slip, you can just start with water. And you can, see what happens. with that brush. Okay, a very poor quality fan brush. See, you're going to get, you could do this deliberately even, you could cut your paintbrush so that when you apply the slip, you're deliberately getting that sort of colour, that sort of line work going.
And Nina, can I ask, can you do this on the wheel? Can wheel throwers do this with their pots?
Even easier for wheel throwers because their pieces are more symmetrical. Okay, so next time I'll show you how to do an ombre.